Hi, and welcome to The Social Angle, a podcast that helps promo bros gain an edge in the social media realm. I'm digital content director Vinny Driscoll, and on this episode, I am joined by my colleague, ASI's social media producer Eliza to discuss the National Day calendar and some of the quirky and unique days you could be capitalizing on for your business. Eliza, welcome to The Social Angle.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How are you doing today? I know you had allergies earlier this week. Myself included, I've been suffering, but kind of staying indoors today and trying to stay, you know, inside and away from the allergies.
Yeah. It's been a little rough, but I've been trying to, stick it out. It's awful when it's like a nice sunny day and you can't
I
go
know, I
outside
know.
because you're sneezing nonstop.
Yeah, today's
So
not
I've
sunny,
been trying to
so
tough it out.
yeah, today's nice and cloudy,
Yeah.
and it's actually kind of chilly in the Philadelphia area today.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're I'm staying indoors, still sneezing a lot, but it is allergy season, so it's a little bit rough. So we have a cool topic today, and this is one that we talked about a couple years ago. We're talking about the National Day calendar and some of the fun days you can take advantage of. But for those who don't know, let me explain. Because I know that some people just have never heard of the National Day calendar. What it is really it's a collection of days that really came to be thanks to the internet. I think about 15, 20 years ago, a lot of these national days didn't exist. But it really came to fruition with social media, with the need to fill gaps in content. All of a sudden we've got all of these quirky days, like National Selfie Day, Hug Your Cat Day. There's all these like weird like national day, like quote unquote national days. Like, they're not holidays, they're just days that people designate as this is the day that, you should be taking selfies. This is the day you could hug your cat. And when those days happen, jumping onto the internet and taking advantages of those types of days can help something go viral. Like for instance, if everyone is jumping on, National Selfie Day, taking a selfie and posting it on social media, and they're tagging it correctly, all of a sudden you get virality and you get a trend going. And that's pretty much how this works. These national day from the National Day calendar, but there are also substantive days, and we're going to be talking about that. That really get a lot of attention. Every year they get a lot of attention. It's kind of like you can almost guarantee that May 4th, May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day, is going to be a trending national day. I mean, it's just one of those days that in the last 10 years has really kind of, turned into a hot trend. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Some of these national days that your business can really capitalize on. But before I do that, like let's talk about first of all, like if you want to see all the national days, you can go to nationaldaycalendar.com, or you can just search for National Day calendar, and you can come up with a list of every month, every day. I mean, each day there could be up to 5 or 10 things that are you know designated for that day. It doesn't mean that May 4th is only Star Wars Day. There could be several other things going on that day. But before we get into those really substantive ones, I want to talk about a few that are just so ridiculous we have to mention here, because you can go through the whole entire calendar, and I think 90% of it is just going to be ridiculous. So here's one, and I'm going to throw this out there, Eliza. September 19th
Yeah.
is Talk Like a Pirate Day. Can you believe that? There's actually a day, Talk Like a Pirate Day. And a couple of years ago, we actually did something for National Pirate Talk Like a Pirate Day. It was kind of weird and quirky, but I don't really see this trend too much anymore. I think it's just kind of
Yeah.
like an afterthought. Um, then there's National Spicy Guac Day on November 4th. So if anybody likes
Hmm.
guacamole extra spicy, there's actually a day for that. There's International Ninja Day on December 18th, which to me, It's kind of weird. I've never heard of that. I've never seen it trend. Probably for good reason. And then on May 3rd, we just passed it, National Lumpy Rug Day.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's all kinds of weird days in the National Day calendar. I don't know why National Lumpy Day, National Lumpy Rug Day should actually be a day. Like I don't know, like what's a lumpy rug? Do people really get into lumpy rugs? Apparently so.
I have no clue.
Yeah. So if you have any comments or questions for us, we're going to start getting into some of the days that you know, you and your business should be mindful of in the National Day calendar. Feel free to post. And Eliza and I can, take a look at your comment or question. We can address it. But Eliza, let's go. We're going to do like four of our top days that businesses should be mindful of. So let's start with one of yours.
Okay, yeah. So mine, uh, my first one's a bit more practical, and it is March 1st as Employee Appreciation Day. It's not as crazy, but I do think this is a great day for distributors to hop on and, not only try to capture a consumer or a customer, but also just to show off their employees and make themselves seem more human online and on social media. I think appreciation days have gotten a lot more popular over the years, and it's just a great way to really show off that your business is human, not always trying to sell something.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really good one. I think every business, they have employees, and you can really pitch, to your clients that, hey, March 1st is Employee Appreciation Day, and you can give your employees some gifts, and you can really kind of, promote that to your buyer. Now, also, like not only just gifts, but I think every business should be jumping onto Employee Appreciation
Right.
Day. I don't
Yeah.
care if you're a supplier, distributor, if you're an end buyer, whoever. Use social media to show off your culture. And we've been discussing this for a while. It's one of those things that is very important to a business, for their social media. Show the people that are behind the scenes of your company. And what better way to do that than Employee Appreciation Day? Do something great for your employees and show it off on social media. That will help your business, stay top of mind. There's brand awareness, and it doesn't cost you much. So take advantage on social media. Employee Appreciation Day, I agree, is a really good one. So I'm
Yeah.
going to start with one of mine. February 9th is National Pizza Day. And, obviously, if you sell to bars and restaurants, pizzerias, that's a no brainer. National Pizza Day, there's so much that you could do with that topic, for a pizzeria, too numerous to name. But also, again, from a social media perspective, throw a pizza party for your employees. Show it off on social media, tag it National Pizza Day. You're going to be part of, a huge trending tag. It may get lost in the shuffle, but to me, I think that's a worthy effort. That's one that people should be, paying attention to. Are you a pizza person?
I am. Yeah, I am. I actually went up to Connecticut a couple weeks ago, and apparently that's a really big spot for pizza. So I got some pizza there and compared it to New York, and they might be winning
Oh,
in
you
Connecticut,
serious? Oh,
in my opinion.
so
Yeah,
I'm a Jersey
yeah, I
guy.
know. I was,
Yeah, I'm a Jersey guy, so
yeah.
I think there's a lag here. I'm sorry. But yeah,
Oh,
as a Jersey guy, grew up in North Jersey.
mhm.
New York, New Jersey, Connecticut pizza was always like the three states that people said, oh, they have the best pizza. I'm biased. I think Jersey has the best pizza. But I've been in New York a million times. I've had New York pizza. Connecticut, I will say I've not eaten too much Connecticut pizza, but you think it's really good?
Yeah, I went to this one, it's called Sally's a Pizza, and it was really good, and, going back to the national, pizza day trend and jumping on it, you can even start, like, a pizza war and get some engagement on there if you really wanted to, like, try to get some people to tag and comment like what their favorite pizza
Yeah.
is in the comments below. I'm sure that would generate so much engagement.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly hit the nail on the head with that with social media. Um, just everyone loves pizza. Everybody appreciates pizza. Obviously, if you're lactose intolerant, you may have trouble with it, as I am. But there are pills for that. And to me, I mean, if you post on your social media, you have a large following. You say who has the best pizza, or what state has the best pizza, or something like that. You are guaranteed to get some sort of engagement because I think you know that's one of those topics that everyone can kind of embrace and appreciate is pizza.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's go to your second choice.
Okay, so because I am a dog mom and my puppy's like everything, I picked National Dog Day, which is August 26th. And fun fact, there's actually, I would say, 69 million households in the USA that owned at least one dog between 2021 and 2022. So dogs are important. They're a big thing. And even if you don't have a dog or maybe not like like dogs, I think a majority of people do. And I've been seeing a lot more businesses that are like dog friendly and stuff like that. So I think National Dog Day is a big one to hop on as well. It's always fun and cute to see someone post a dog. And I feel like that just really generates a lot of engagement. Like, cute dogs, cute babies, cute kittens, that all will, get someone to actually interact with your post. So I would say National Dog Day is a big one.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The pet market in our industry is massive, and it's
Yeah.
it's going to continue to be good. It was really great during the pandemic, ironically, because people were buying pets. Pets. th-
Yeah.
One thing that actually thrived during the pandemic were adoptions. People were home, and it was like, hey, like I'm home full time now. I may never be going back to the office. This is the perfect time to get a puppy or a kitten or some type of animal. And the pet market is thriving in this. Well, it always thrives, but in this industry, it's still thriving. So yeah, and then social media goes hand in hand with pictures of kittens and dogs and birds. Like everybody loves animals and pets. So I think that's a perfect one. So that was what day was that? That
That was
was
August 26th.
August 26th, right? Which to me I think is a really good one to put on your calendar because
Yeah.
that's one that you could really take advantage of not only for
Yeah, especially
no.
sorry to cut you off, but I've noticed, there's a rise in like pet daycares, pet salons, bars and restaurants that you could bring
Mhm.
your pet to. And if you can, I mean, I love bandanas for my dog. So a bandana with any logo on it, he's gonna wear it most likely. Like if it fits, he's gonna wear it. So yeah, I think that's a
And
great
that's a great point
opportunity.
you bring up. More and more places are allowing pets. I remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the thought of bringing a dog to a restaurant was kind of foreign. Now you go into a lot of bars and restaurants, especially on the West Coast. My sister lives in Portland, Oregon, and you could take your animals everywhere with you. Like they're welcome everywhere. So, you know, to me, I feel like that's a winning combination. You could sell to bars and restaurants, any type of place that welcomes pets. So that's a really good one. So my second one is National T-Shirt Day, which is on the first day of summer. So sometimes it's June 20th, June 21st. But National T-Shirt Day, that to me is that's a promotion product right there. It's one of our most popular promotional products in the industry. You can sell that as you see fit to any type of business that you could potentially give out a free T-shirt on National T-Shirt Day. But again, it's also one of those things that people love to show off on social media. You know, T-shirts. Everyone has a favorite T-shirt. National T-Shirt Day.
Right.
Just say,
Yeah.
hey, post. What's your favorite T-shirt? Your favorite branded T-shirt. And for a lot of people like myself, someone who's Gen X. I have a lot of concert T-shirts. those to me. I feel like I would run to my dresser, pick out a T-shirt, put it on, take a picture of it, and post on social media. And I think that's one of those winning combinations right there.
Yeah, I think the t-shirts are really big because I know you mentioned concert t-shirts, but for me, like any college t-shirt, even if I didn't go there. But if a friend went there or I was visiting, I got a t-shirt from there. So t-shirt day, you could show off your favorite sports team, a band that you like, a college, your college, that kind of thing. I think t-shirt day is a really cool one, and a lot of people can relate
Yeah,
to
and
that.
even a T-shirt that fits really well. It doesn't necessarily have to be a brand that you're really crazy about. It could just be a T-shirt that it's well
Mhm.
made. It fits well. I mean, I have a bunch of
Right, yeah.
T-shirts that you know they're I don't even know what the brand is, but I know that I wear them because I've had them for a while and they just fit me the right way. So there's
Yeah.
so many different ways this can go. So National T-shirt Day, June 21st, first day of summer. All right, Eliza, what's your third?
Okay, my third one is coffee day, and that is September 29th. And I think coffee, kind of like pizza, is just something like a lot of people can get on top of. You could even start like, a coffee war. Like, do you like Dunkin' or Starbucks? Or some people might chime in and say, no, Wawa.
Right.
Like, we're from the East Coast, like that kind of thing. So I think coffee day is a great one, even just bringing coffee and showing your employees enjoying, a good cup of Joe. Or just, that's an opportunity to show your tumblers, your mugs, anything coffee related. Throw it all in a basket, have a, a nice kit of it, like that kind of thing. I think coffee day is a really good one, especially like working, like I will sometimes have like more than one cup of coffee a day because I need it. So coffee day is a big one.
Yeah, and there's so much, there's promotional coffee in this industry. There's mugs, obviously. So there's,
Mhm.
that's a winning formula. National Coffee Day. So many people drink coffee. I'm one of them. You're one of them. And if you're not a coffee drinker, there's also National Tea Day. You can't have a National Coffee Day without a National Tea Day. So, there are going to be these national days for just about every type of interest. Like if there's an interest that has a big following, there's going to be a national day. So again, National Coffee Day is one of those, and I think that there are so many different places that you can sell to for that one. We talk about coffee shops. For one of them, like boom, a small mom and pop,
Mhm.
which we have in Yardley, where I live, which you're familiar with.
Yeah.
To me,
Mhm.
like we have a couple downtown that are like really cool. It's like boom, these small little mom and pop shops. Hey, National Coffee Day is September 29th. There's a lot of really cool things you can do there. Um, all right, so my third one, and going from one beverage to the next, I'm going to do National Beer Day. This one is again another no-brainer to me. National Beer Day is on April 7th. There's also an International Beer Day, which I think happens later in the summer.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, bars and restaurants again. If there's a place that sells alcohol, this is a no-brainer. Also, social media. The social media opportunities here are huge. Happy hour, like is what day is April 7th? What if it happens on a Friday? Boom, you've got your happy
Yeah.
hour aspect to it. If you're off of work, it's National Beer Day. What are you drinking? Boom, show it off.
Yeah, and then there's also the great rise of, like, breweries, at least in our area. Like, we have, like, the PA, like,
Yep.
ale trail where they, really push you to go hop around to each one. So, it's definitely something that's gotten, I would say, a lot more popular. Not sure if it's, like, the millennials pushing, like, that different type of, like, beers and everything, but, I think National Beer Day, I mean, I feel like there's any type of like alcohol, wine or spirit, whatever, there's probably a holiday for that. So even if
Yeah,
you're
I
not a
agree.
beer drinker and maybe wine, there's definitely National Wine Day, and you can push
National
that
Wine
as
Day
well.
is we showcased that a few years ago in our last podcast. But yeah, definitely there's National Wine Day. But again, bars and restaurants, brew pubs, like you mentioned, you can't go a mile or two anywhere in any direction without running into a brew pub these days. So there's plenty of
Mhm.
opportunity out there to take advantage of this day, which is April 7th. I mean, for these bars and restaurants and brew pubs, every day is National Beer Day, right? But create a
Right.
campaign
Yeah.
around like these major holidays. Jump on social media, and that's the winning formula of really kind of getting recognized. All right, so let's go to your fourth. I think we're up to our fourth, right? Yeah,
Okay.
our fourth.
Yes. So my last one is actually going to be National Pie Day, and that's March 14th. I think this is a really cool one. I remember hearing about it in high school, and my math teacher just found it as an excuse to celebrate. And, even though it's a math equation, people were bringing in pie, different flavors pie to try. So, yeah, that's definitely one that I think is a big one, and that's really fun to do as well. Kind of relating back to food, I feel like food or beverage is kind of always easy to like celebrate about. So I would say that one. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that one's
that's
easy. That one is very just like May 4th, like what we were talking about. Like you're not going to forget
yeah.
3.14. Like,
Yeah, I mean it's really based on 3.14, and then 3 was March 14th. So to me, that one has been trending more and more each year. I noticed it a few years
Yeah.
ago. I was like, oh, Pi Day, it's trending on social media, and then the last couple of years, it's going to be guaranteed to be trending on social media on March 14th. Like you go to Twitter, you go to Facebook, that's what's trending. Like the people that I
Right.
follow on social media on March 14th, on May 4th, on nat like National Beer Day, you were going to
hmm
it's guaranteed that you were going to see something in your feed that day where people are eating pie on March 14th or on May the 4th. I'll tell you something. This past May the 4th, my entire feed was Star Wars. It was all Star
Right.
Wars. And I've never seen May the 4th as prevalent as I saw it this year. Like everything, TikTok,
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, it was all Star Wars. It was all Star Wars. And that just kind of tells you, how these quirky national days are becoming part of the national fabric. Like they're not going away. These things this is why we feel that you can use these for your business because they're popular and they're going to continue to be popular. Um, and why not jump on these trends? I think that's the real important thing about this. Like it's free publicity. Jump in there, and take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there is a national holiday going
There
on
is.
every day. Like, there literally is. So, if you miss one, it's always like next year, or there's always like there's
Right.
always one similar
Right.
like after. Or you could, if you're really trying to push one, you could look it up and see. Like, if you really want to find out like National Pen Day, I'm sure there
There
is one.
is.
Like, you just
That,
got to look it up
there's
on
a
the internet
National
and
Ballpoint Pen Day.
even if you're the only person to post it, yeah, and if you're the only person to post it, I'm sure someone else will see it and be like, "Oh my goodness, I need to post about
Yeah.
this." So you could make it into a trend. But yeah, there is National Pen
Yeah,
Day.
I was gonna actually have that as one of my own, but I felt that was like, it was like T-shirt day. But there is a National
Mhm.
Ballpoint Pen Day. I think it's in June, but you can look it
Yes.
up on nationaldaycalendar.com. But my last one, I think it's kind of a trend, and it's going to be an increasing trend not only in this industry but in all industries. Sustainability. And on November 15th, we
Mhm.
have National Recycle Day. Now, this, to me, I think you would be out of your mind not to try to jump on this in some respect if you sell sustainability or you sell to
Yeah.
the sustainability market. Um, but even like if that's part of your business's core values, you're really big into
Mhm.
sustainability. This is a day you want to put on your calendar and really showcase on social media your commitment to sustainability. That
Yeah.
this is one of those days that is going to continue to get more trendy as the years go on because sustainability is
Mhm.
got a lot of momentum right now, and it's going to continue to have momentum, going probably indefinitely. It's going to be an up curve. So to me, November 15th, National Recycle Day, I'm going to also try to kind of get a podcast going on that day,
Mhm.
as to jump on that trend. But to me, that's one to keep an eye on, and it's the perfect time. It's we're 6 months. How many months away is that? 6 months. Yeah, I think it's 6 months away. Can you
Mhm.
believe that
Mhm.
Christmas is going to be here in like 6 to 7 months? I can't believe it. But we're all.
Yeah, I was just thinking about January. I'm like,
Oh
"Wait,
my
that was
God.
so long ago.
I
Now we're
know.
going into June."
Time's flying by. But yeah, so
Yeah.
those are our 8 that you should be mindful of. Obviously, we named a few extra ones
Mhm.
there. I know we Star Wars Day, but if you want to go to National Calendar or nationaldaycalendar.com, you can actually sort by month. You can
Mhm.
sort by week because there are national months. Like, hey, breast cancer awareness, like that's the month of October. But you can kind of break it down in so many different ways. So check it out. And if you want any tips from Eliza and I, certainly you can reach out to us. Me at ASI Central on Twitter. And Eliza, how do people get a hold of you if they want to?
Yes, you guys can email me at ebage@asicentral.com, or I will soon be having a Twitter. So
Yes.
once that gets all set up, you can reach out to me
Yeah,
on
we're
there.
breaking the news today. Eliza is going to be joining
Yes.
the Twitterverse. I don't know if I should be happy for her or scared for her because the Twitterverse can be a scary place. But I think within our
Mhm.
industry, the promo industry, it's a very caring industry,
Yes.
and it's nurturing, and there's a
Mhm.
lot of really good people out there on Twitter for promo. And I'm looking forward to having you out there and to have you involved in some of the things that we do. We're starting up our second season of Promo Space tomorrow, actually, and I'm excited to
Mhm.
have somebody help me with those promo spaces because they can definitely be a lot of work to do. But I'm excited.
Yes.
Well, thank you so
Mhm.
much, Eliza. This has been a really
Yeah,
fun
of
conversation.
course.
I'm looking forward to seeing how these national days play out for the rest of the year,
Mhm.
and certainly in the
Yep.
years to come. But for anyone, if you want to see what national days are trending, I think one of the best networks to do that in is Twitter. I know, um, Eliza,
Mhm.
how is Instagram for trending days?
I mean, you would click on the hashtag, but I feel like hashtags are kind of dead on Instagram, to be honest. I would say your best place would really be Twitter, like to
Yeah,
know what's going on. Yeah, maybe even TikTok though, because
yeah,
TikTok does
TikTok
have
as
a
well.
trending. And yeah, TikTok I would say is a really good one. So Twitter and TikTok would probably
There you
be your
go.
best bets. Yeah.
And if
Hmm.
not, you go to nationaldaycalendar.com or
Yes.
just search national days and you'll come up with the list. And you know obviously you can search by month, you can search by days. Look, there's no shortage of content for days, and it'll boggle your mind.
There definitely isn't.
Yeah. So check it out, and we'll see you next time on
Mhm.
the social angle. Have a good one, Eliza.
Bye.